So guys, I had this car almost 2 days and I already washed it. See how nice looking this car is right now. So definitely it is a Italian design. It's a beautiful in and out. There is a lot of stuff I don't like about this car personally. I would never buy it for myself. I mean, in terms of resell it, for sure, I'm gonna do that as soon as the prices for this car gonna go down like in a half, or maybe they be like 20,000 at the auction, and maybe for 20,000, 25,000, 23,000 you can sell. But right now, like dealers, they do have a lot of them. And again, it's the same car as a Dodge Hornet, and that car available as a hybrid also. So I don't know if it makes sense to overpay for the Dodge, but same time, if you're gonna check the prices for the Dodge, how much is it? Like 43,000, and Alfa Romeo starts from 48,000. So this edition a little bit more expensive, but anyway, it's kind of too much for me. I think so. 56, 58,000 for this kind of car, I would definitely go with something used. But again, if you kind of like it and you're okay with the price and depreciation value for this car in the future, why not? 299, 265 a month with 3,000 down, lease. I think it's not bad idea for the hybrid car. 31 miles range on the battery if you're going to plug it, and I believe it's about 14 miles an hour to charge it if you're charging it from 220. That's what I did at the house, and it's not bad. I mean, for some stuff during the day, definitely gonna help to save money. So what do you think about this car? If you got one, maybe you have strong opinion about Alfa Romeo, you want to buy only them, or you don't want to buy Alfa Romeo at all because it's Italian, or it's a Chrysler, or it's a Dodge, and it's definitely nice fun car, but for sure, in my opinion, again, it's not worth 58,000. So I'll go over the design outside and inside this car. What I don't like outside, definitely I don't like the headlights. I don't like the way they looks, and I think the car for 56, 58,000, it should look a little bit differently than this. So inside the car, I mean, if you drove Alfa Romeo before, Giulia maybe, or Stelvio, doesn't matter, you're probably not gonna see the huge difference, because the steering wheel, the way they doing shifters and the buttons, all that stuff, that's kind of the same as the Giulia. Feels good. It's not that noisy. I'm going 65 on the freeway right now. Pretty much it has a lot of power, and right now I'm driving in eco mode, but same time I can adjust the suspension to go on sport mode. Wow, I mean, it's not that aggressive. It is reminding me like the Mazda CX-30. I think they do have some similar items outside or inside, maybe the size, maybe the way it drives. Small SUV, what can you tell? They're all about the same. The suspension, it's not that soft, but at the same time it's not that hard. And I'm driving on a sport mode. I'm not sure if this one has a magnetic shocks. I believe it's just a regular one, but meantime, when I'm gonna open the hood, I'll check it out if there is any wires going to the shocks or not. Maybe I'm mistaken, but it feels like just regular shocks. It sits on a freeway just perfectly fine. Any speed, not any, but like 75, 77, 65. It feels good, but it's not supposed to be 56,000. I think if this car would go for 36, 37,000, like about RAV4 price or Mazda, it would be much nicer. Anyway, this car is gonna lose value fast. So why are you trying to sell it for 60 if this car in couple years it's gonna be 25, 24, or even less than 20? That's the question I always have for the new Maserati Alfa Romeo. Like, why? Look at those lights. It looks nice. So I'm gonna take the freeway and see how fast, how cool this car feels when you drive it on the freeway. So there is 3 different modes: DNA, like the previous Alfa Romeo, and I'm gonna drive it on A. I think it's economy, the best economy ever, and D, that's a sport mode, and we're gonna go over that. But for now, let's leave it on A, so I can see what's the economy feels like on a brand new Alfa Romeo. Let's go. Some design, I love it a lot. There is a lot of cool stuff. Some of them, I don't like it. It just feels so cheap. I understand it's a brand new car. It is adjusting for the owner, for the driver. I don't understand why my power percentage constantly jumping to 60, between 10 and 60, even though, for example, right now I'm pushing the gas pedal just a little bit, it's going up. But when I'm pushing it steady, it's still jumping. So it's like the engine trying to be involved, or it's only the battery. And right now the battery chart shows 26 miles range. So that's strange. I mean, see, right now it's jumping, but it's jumping even more when I'm trying to accelerate just a little bit and trying to hold the pedal steady. It is keep jumping from 10 all the way to 60. It jumped several times. I think it could be still in calibration for the new car, adjustment and all that kind of stuff. But the cluster itself, it looks cheap. I mean, even though I have this technology from like 2015, I believe so, 2014, when the Audi started doing that. So even though this looks kind of cheap edition for me, even if I'll go on the sport mode, DNA. So on D, what I'm getting, nothing, just red zone right there. That's all I'm getting on a super sport mode for Alfa Romeo. Doesn't feel like 60,000. Honestly, it does not feel that. Harman Kardon sound system feels good, but for some reason I cannot adjust it the way I want. Even though I'm doing the bass 0 or -2 and I'm listening satellite radio, right? It still has a lot of bass and I don't know how to adjust it. Like, the sound system is weird. Even though it has a famous name and it's probably expensive, it is, but it doesn't sound that expensive. What about the seats? Are they comfortable? Not really. I'm not a skinny small guy, and for me it's a little bit uncomfortable. I have no idea why. Maybe because I'm just not the right size person for this Alfa Romeo. So who's those people who's buying Alfa Romeo? I have no idea. My friend, he just buying those cars just to have them for the rental fleet or to drive it himself. So, new car coming, the guy on it, he's not gonna drive it every day, that's for sure. He might gonna give it to someone like a family member, or maybe put it, I don't know, maybe gonna do something with that. I have no idea. But anyway, so would I buy it for myself to drive it? Probably not. What about the price? 56,350 MSRP for this car. And right now there is a lease special, but it's not really special. So basically he's putting 3,000 down payment with good credit, and he's gonna do the payment, I think, $296 a month, which is not bad. The only bad thing, you have to put 3,000. So why Alfa Romeo, why Maserati, they doing that kind of down payment? For example, if you're gonna take Toyota, most of the time they're not doing down payment. Why? Because the residual value, so basically the car at the end of the lease, is gonna worth more on the market than your amount of paying off, right? So Alfa Romeo or Maserati, it's totally different story. So when you get in it as a lease or finance, doesn't matter. At the end of your, I mean, the finance, it is matter because you buying the car, but you basically paying for the losing value of this car, right? So when lease, you have to put down payment. So basically, they're gonna cover a little bit expenses from the end of the lease because the residual value is going to be higher than the market. So you pay off for this Alfa Romeo, for example, in 3 years, in 2 years, depends what's the term you choose. At the end of your lease, this car is going to be pay off 35, 36,000. They're just random numbers. But the market value is going to be about 26, 27. Those cars, you're always going to be upside down. Always. It doesn't matter what. So the Toyota, Lexus, Honda, they can do zero down. I mean, honestly, Alfa Romeo, Maserati, they can do zero down also, but your payment is going to be high in the sky. So they have to cover that depreciation value during the lease period. Otherwise, it doesn't make any sense for them to sell you the car. Toyota, it's a different animal. Toyota, you might gonna get the super lease for $199 a month with zero down, and at the end of your lease term, that car is still gonna be worth, I don't know, 25,000 in the market, for example, and your payoff is gonna be 20,000. That's the reality. I mean, I'm not super professional about the numbers, but I just know the way it works, the way those cars works, and the way you can sell it or buy it nowadays. So let's go back to Alfa Romeo. Such a weird car, to be honest with you, such a weird car. So guys, I came to one of the best place in Los Angeles. I'm not saying it's the best of the best, it's one of the best place. That's called Lake Balboa. So there is a lot of stuff to do here, a lot of things, a lot of activities with kids or by yourself. And I like to drive it sometimes here because it's so peaceful place. There's a golf course, there is a lot of different activities, right? But it's a lake. So this Alfa Romeo honestly reminded me that old style 156, 159 Alfa Romeo. I love those. I mean, the design of those Alfa Romeos just beautiful. I think it's really good. But what I'm also thinking about, when the Chrysler bought Fiat and Alfa Romeo, they have no interest of kind of push this company forward. So they basically doing the same cars. Like this car, it's the same as a Dodge Hornet, I think so. And that car just like no go. Nobody wanna, not nobody, but some people buying it, but still. And like even the dealer saying, if right now Dodge gonna stop producing those Hornets, it's gonna be enough for 5 years of sales. So why they keep going on that? And honestly, I'm still curious how come they producing this kind of car and trying to sell it for that money, 56,000. That's a lot. That's a lot for this car. And they still not going. They still not doing bankruptcy like a Fisker. I don't know. 56,000 again. I wouldn't buy it. So what about the options? Moonroof. It's kind of panoramic roof. For the small roof itself, it's kind of huge glass, right? So the engine kind of powerful. I would say more than enough for this small SUV. I do love the design of these rims. So it's a veloce edition, right? It's not TI, veloce, and it has beautiful rims. Those rims reminded me the old style Alfa Romeo, the one everybody loves, probably. I would get one of those from 2003, 2000, I don't know, 7, 159 Alfa Romeo, if they still exist in a great shape, and if I can bring it here to United States. But it's gonna be so problematic to find any parts or solution for that car. Yeah, that old style Alfa Romeo Italian design still kind of exists, but it's not the same anymore. I hope at least they're gonna have a lot of parts and the people are not gonna have a problem with maintenance. And when this car is gonna be used in after 3-5 years, it's gonna be cheap and it's gonna be much better, like much easier, affordable than right now. So they're gonna be like everywhere probably. Such a weird sound. So it's a nice car. It's a nice, beautiful, small SUV, especially the color. The color is great. The quality, it's on a level. I wouldn't say it's a top Italian quality. No, it's not. I'm gonna show you some stuff on the seats. It's easy to see them. And technology, yes, there is a lot of options. But even that backup camera, it's such a bad, let me show it to you. It's such a bad quality of the camera itself. I just don't understand how you can do that in 2025, 2024. It's kind of HD camera, right? But when you, let me show it to you. So when you come in closer to any car, or look at the quality for this car. You might gonna say that's fine. Yeah, maybe it's fine, but not for the car for 60,000. Honestly. So multimedia itself, what I can tell, it's kind of a little bit maybe difficult, so you have to spend some time on that to figure out the way you're going to access. So what's the difference on DNA? D, right? That's a sport, and we are going all that stuff on the sport edition. So N, normal, and A, it's kind of safest mode. You're basically gonna drive it on a battery most of the time. So the suspension basically not working. It's just saying here, suspension, it's on the sport mode, but on A, you cannot adjust it. So the shifters and all that, again, it is reminding me like a Mazda stuff. Maybe it's on the other side, but even that from the Mazda, I'm not sure if it's the same or not. E-Safe, have no idea what is that yet. Pockets. This car has 180 miles. It's a brand new, but look on this. It's already dirt and you have to clean it. I don't know how come. Not from me. Somebody didn't wash the hands. That's probably what's happened. Okay, look at the quality for the seats. Look at the stitches. I mean, it is an Italian car for almost 60,000. In my opinion, that should be at least straight, not like that. And I would say it would be such a nice if they would put like stitches on the top of that, maybe red one or maybe blue, same as a car. But I mean, no, 25,000, 30,000 maybe car, yes, but not Italian car, not Alfa Romeo. How come? Why this one? They did so good, but why they didn't pay attention on the seat itself? They just don't care. That's what all the new cars about. I'm telling you, they just don't care about that. All right, so the steering wheel, Porsche or Ferrari design, start and stop. That's cool. All Alfa Romeos have the same. The switch, it's kind of old one, so nothing, not a lot of stuff I would say to impress me. The shifters are good, and it feels like it's aluminum, to be honest with you. Those paddle shifters, they are aluminum. Yeah, because they are cold, so it's a metal. Let's go outside and I'm going to show you some things I don't understand how come they doing that. So all right, all Alfa Romeos, they still producing in Italy, so they're not doing assembly in United States. And honestly, you can tell the plastic, it's a little bit different. And if I would compare this car to any Dodge, I would say it's for sure much better quality. At least they have some bolts, so the molding not gonna pop out from there. All the rubbers are feeling different, the plastic, the doors, assembly. It is feeling much better quality than US assembly cars, that's for sure. But the quality of the materials, they just minimizing it so they can bring the cost down. Look at those rims, those are insane. The brake system on the back, it's a simple caliper with one piston, and the front one we got Brembo 4 pistons Alfa Romeo. Even though new car, a lot of rust, that's okay. Look the way the molding sits, it's kind of hard to pull it out. So it's definitely better quality than Cybertruck. Cybertruck, you can easily pull all the moldings out. So what I don't like on this side, yeah, we do have a battery right there, but on the other side of the car, we have exhaust sitting right there, and you can see it from any angle. So it's just something I don't understand how it's possible to pull the exhaust this way. And let me show you some strange thing what's happening during the day. So you sit in the car, you kind of Ferrari owner or Porsche owner, you can call it whatever you can, right? So this light sometimes it's coming off and on during you driving. Mazda has the same thing. So right now we don't have a battery available. If I'm gonna go on the engine, even not the sport mode, just regular one, so the RPM stays about 1500. Even though this car, you might gonna say it's cold. No, it's not. It's just staying this way most of the time. That's why I don't understand. So I think there's something wrong with the throttle body, because it's not supposed to be that high all the time. 285 horsepower, 350 torque. So this car is kind of rocket, but it's not. So maybe it's still breaking in 200 miles only, so you might gonna drive it, I don't know, couple more thousand until it's gonna go to normal, right? So 1500, that's the way it stays. And what's also interesting, while I was driving on the freeway, see this sign, Alfa Romeo, right? You might gonna see it, it's right there. So this one is changing color. The more you step on the gas, it's going blue, and after, I believe it's trying to go red. And see how snake they made, like there is a plug on the top of the head. That's interesting. That's definitely interesting. So design, I like it. The Italian label, Italian flag right there. E-safe, I don't understand that option. E-safe, basically it's trying to shut off the engine. I don't know, it's kind of weird. So like I say, maybe like Toyota saying you have to drive it 5,000 10,000 miles until the engine gonna break in, and after you can like enjoy it the way it's supposed to be. I was thinking that time passed already, and the engine's kind of prepare to take the hit right away, but looks like they're still doing it, and you still have to be gentle with brand new car about 5,000 miles, and after do the oil change, do the maintenance, check up, tight maybe some bolts if there is something loose. I don't know what they're doing, but I know for sure when you buy a new Toyota, you just step all the way to the floor and the car goes, and you're not thinking about something gonna happen. This car brand new, and every time I'm stepping on the gas, I'm thinking I might gonna get some consequences by doing that. Transmission works weird, the sound of the engine weird, but it's Alfa Romeo, Italian, beautiful color Alfa. That's for sure.